Okay, hello everybody, welcome back to my channel today. I'm Kevin, and today we are not going to talk about politics topic anymore. Yes, of course, in our last topic we already talked about the end of the politics topic. So today, I'm going to give you another topic, and this topic is also having a connection with the politics topic. That is war. Yes, seems like it's not having so many connection with the topic we talked earlier, but no, it's really have a strong connection because topic about politics and topic about war is always a tool for politicians to use to get what they want and also to prevent their own problems and also to help them keep their property, keep the advantage from the other countries. And that's how they use war, use army and politics as ones to making out the perfect tools that they can get these countries become stronger and bigger. So the point of the war and the army with the politics is that they are on tools and they are on use by the politicians to make their country become better in the politicians' vision. Okay, but of course there are still some difference about a people who hold an army and people who hold politic, because people who holds the power over politics know how to take the problems, how to solve it without trying to avoid the war as much as possible. But in the other hand, the people, the person who take power over the army will just only get one way, that they have to win the war, and they only use talking when they know they cannot win. Okay, so let's come straight into our topic about the introduction of the First World War. So we must talk about the First World War. The World War is the human tragedy and on a global space. Yeah, so it began in Europe, but countries from around the world get involved quickly. The war lasts for 4 dark years, from 1914 to 1918, and a staggering 65 million people was died, including over 21 million people, and in that number we have 13 million civilians. The terrible impact of the war sparked revolutions and toppled once great empires and changed the political map of Europe forever. This is the short introduction of the First World War, and now we are going to talk more details about how it happened. So, if we talk about the beginning of the World War, we need to talk about the Great War. The First World War was fought on such a massive scale that people call it the Great War. Never before had any war been fought on so many battlefields with such a vast array of powerful destructive weapons and with a huge amount of army and weapons on many battlefields, and even people who are not joining the battlefields get involved too. So there is the result for those problems when the Great War happened. Of course, as the result, there's many deaths during the time, and go with the deaths, there are also about mass destruction and the collapse of empires together. Now we first talk about the destruction of the war. Yeah, so because this is a world war, so you guys know how destructive it is. It's very bad, it's harmful, and a lot of type of weapons were involved using, developed, and used in the war. That's making people die because of biology, chemistry, or just physically become short, right? So that's the type of destruction in the war. Now we are going to talk about the reason why those weapons could expand so much that it kills over 65 million people. So the reason that the war is so destructive was the first major war between the newly industrialized country in the Europe. In the day before factories and let's say business, factories and technologies not being good and not developed enough to create destructive weapons. People need to transfer and going to use just a low, let's say train, right? Not just train, they just can only use horse or walking. They don't have the vehicles, they don't have transportation with except horse, right? So the way they move and change their army, they charge their army amount is very slow, and that thing is why when a war happens, the destruction or the destructive it make is not big. That is attack all the civilian, but after the factories and business developed, they explode on the, let's say, explodes on victory and development. They become very great, right? They expand everywhere and they become a regular sign for every country. And that thing is where the vehicles, the trains going to replace horse and walk. And this is the time that the world war happened. And when this happened, you guys can see the transportation is better. It's going to develop people faster, and that's why army could get more and more people going into it and become a bigger side of the army. It's not just a small army, not just a small group, but it have the amount of people that everybody must be surprised about. And that thing occurs because of the transport. Okay, it's occurs because of the transportation. And one more side, that even when people have big amount of soldiers, that's not only the reason that the wars become so destructive. The main reason that is because going with the vehicles and transportation, weapons and wars already create new weapons and develop the technique of using them. Instead of using sword and bow, now they're using guns, they're using nuclear bombs, they're using tank, right? Or they're even using some ship. World war having ships, having plane, having bombs, a lot of things. They are not just fighting by sword anymore. And that is why the amount of people who die and the destructions of the world expand and extended all over the world. Okay, so that's the reason for the destruction of this world. Now let's come to the class of empires. So on the other hand, the empires is a very big countries, but it's not just that. They also have colonies and countries that been defeated or become one side with them, and that they join to be a part of the main country, creating an empire. And when the most powerful countries in both empires get into war with colonies and influence in every corner of the globe, so although the war began in Europe, it quickly spread out all over the world and become the wider and bigger world, right? So let's take an example for you guys to know about the situation. For example, countries that is your colonies is a part of Europe, and that country is become attacked. And if you are an empire, even when that country is not really yours, it's just that those people decided to become yours and become your friend, become your team. So as an empire, you have the responsibility to join the war and protect the small part that the Europe war has attacked. And that's why big countries and empires quickly join in and make the world become wilder. Okay? Now, let's talk about another side, another war that happened on the Great War, the Total War. Why we talk about the Total War? Because in the history, in the past, people already going to make lots of total war. Only nowadays, they not do it anymore. So what is total war? So the war affected the life of civilians more than any previous war. This is also known as the total wars. Why is that? Because for the first time, they were expected to help their country in the war effort. The workers and the farmer have to step up, have to develop, have to speed up the industry and the, let's say agriculture. It's a little bit hard to let's say spell, so I will look carefully. Is the agriculture, yeah, the agriculture, or you could say the crops and the industrial production to keep the troops fed, armored, and prepared to fight at any time. So with that effort, the empires and the countries all over the world quickly noticed that the real problems is not the soldiers themselves, but also about the farmers that trying to give their soldiers crops, trying to give their soldiers food, and the workers who trying to make more and more weapons for their army. So quickly the people who is just civilians working being involved and become targets for massive destruction attack, and that is why it's called a total war, because it's attack at no limit. Not even civilians, not even kids, not even army, they attack all and they kill all. That's why we call it a total war. Okay, so yeah, because this is just the first topic about the Great War and the First World War, so I'll just introduce it a little bit, and yeah, let's you guys going to find more about it. And of course I having a link here, maybe you guys should find out. It's from Newsboard. If you guys want to know more and going to get more information, maybe you guys should join the World Wide Web newsboardquicklinks.com, or even going to search on newspaper, Wikipedia, or lots of other news, right? So that's just what I want you guys to visit and look more, so that you guys could understand my, let's say, complicated explanation. Okay, so that's all I want to say with you guys today. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys in my next video. And now it's time for say goodbye and see ya.